Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John, and we're doing the ever-changing backgrounds. Have a whole new setup. Checking it out. I'm gonna see how it works. So today we're doing classic rock albums of 1980. So I already did the metal, I did the hard rock, and there were so many more albums that I had when I was younger, and I didn't want to leave off. I wanted to mention a lot of these I had when I was younger. Other ones are bands that I like. So they're from 1980, and let's get into it. So my first album is Billy Joel with Glass Houses. Now, when I was a kid, I remember having the vinyl for this. Back then we called them records. At some point it changed to being called vinyls. I don't know when that was. Has some really cool songs on it. You May Be Right. And it's kind of funny, there's a line in there talking about like how he walked through Bed-Stuy alone. Bed-Stuy is a section of Brooklyn, New York, and I have some really good friends who live there. I visit whenever I go to New York, and it's like a hipster paradise. There's all these like coffee shops, and it's a really upscale neighborhood now. But I guess back in the 80s it was a different thing. Another track is Don't Ask Me Why. This has a very like cool Beatles influence. Still rock and roll to me. It has like a 50s rock influence. There's some other songs. Some get a little maybe proggy. A lot of like old time rock, some Beatles influence. Really good album. Number 2, I have Joan Jett with Bad Reputation. This is her debut solo album. After the Runaways disbanded, she recorded a solo album. The title track is very angry and punky. You probably know it from the Shrek movie. The other songs are kind of like straightforward, like 50s and 60s rock and roll. There's some ballads. Another one of singles. It's another like angry kind of punk song. Do You Want to Touch? At number 3, I have Rolling Stones with Emotional Rescue. So this album was kind of like a funk or like a bluesy direction. The title track, I remember this one when I was a child too, when I was younger. We had the vinyl for this one, but it's kind of like a disco song with like falsetto vocals. It was very strange. And She's So Cold, that was a straightforward like rock and roll song. At number 4, I have Queen with The Game. So this one, when I was a kid, I had this on the vinyl too. They have the track Play the Game, that's a classic ballad. Dragon Attack, there's a really cool like bass sound in that. Also, another one, Bites the Dust, that's another bass heavy song. Crazy Little Thing Called Love, that's like an old like 50s rock and roll song. So this is a really solid album by Queen. 5, I have Pat Benatar, Crimes of Passion. This is like a straightforward like rock, maybe even hard rock album. Treat Me Right, that's kind of a good rocker. Hit Me With Your Best Shot, that's probably her most popular one. And another cool track, Hell Is for Children. It's very dark. It's kind of like a ballad. It's about like child abuse, but it's really it's a good song. If you listen to the lyrics, it's very dark. And at number 6, I have Yes with the album Drama. This is their 10th studio album. It had Trevor Horn on lead vocals, Jeff Downes on keys, and this was after John Anderson and Rick Wakeman left. Now, this album had a little more of a different sound and more like accessible sounds, maybe a little aggressive. They added some keyboards, some distortion, like a vocoder. I mean, for me, it sounded like a Yes album. I couldn't really tell the difference in the vocalists. And Yes albums, you kind of have to like listen to like 20 times to be able to like absorb it. I listened to it once, and it was a good album. So I think that's worth checking out. At number 7, I have Jethro Tull with A. This was intended to be an Ian Anderson solo album. It had like more synthesizers, and the sound was a little different. It's more of like an art rock album. It's less of their like folk rock or heavy rock. A lot of fans didn't like it. I listened to it today. I thought it was pretty cool. Wasn't a bad album. At number 8, I have Neil Diamond with The Jazz Singer. This is kind of like one of those like guilty pleasures. I know I'm a rock and metal head, but I really like these songs: "Love on the Rocks," "Hello Again," "America." Those were three hit singles. They came in. They were on the Billboard charts, that number 2, number 6, and number 8, respectively. So those are good stuff. At number 9, John Lennon, Yoko Ono with Double Fantasy. I had this vinyl when I was a kid, and I love this. I played this so much. I used to like listen to it in my basement, especially the song "Just Like Starting Over." That was my favorite, but also "Watching the Wheels," "Woman." Now this is an interesting album. It didn't really sell very well at first. John Lennon took like a 5-year break after his son Sean was born, but then he got murdered like 3 weeks later, and all of a sudden it became a big success, and it won a Grammy and all that. And number 10, Turn of a Friendly Card by the Alan Parsons Project. This is probably one of my favorite prog bands. I got into them recently. For some reason or another, when I was younger, I never heard of them. Maybe they weren't that popular in the States. This is their 5th studio album. It's a concept album about gambling and has 2 hit songs, Games People Play in Time. Okay, so that's it. 10 classic rock albums from 1980. Coming up next, I will be doing some new releases because it's the weekend. So I just found out there's a new Diamond hit coming out. I think it's like a remake of one of their old albums, Sodom thrash band. They got one coming out, and Hatebreed, a hardcore like new metal band. So I'll be doing those new releases over the weekend, and then when the next week comes, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Maybe some more lists, but I've been cranking out a lot of videos. So remember, please comment below if there are any other things you want me to do, any requests, any albums I missed from the year 1980. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.